Let's get it. Turn it up.
You are now tuned into the Hustle Ninjas podcast.
All right.
Yo, what's up? My name is Rich of the Hustle Ninjas podcast. Welcome back to another episode. And on this episode right here, we talk about all things entrepreneurship on the Hustle Ninjas podcast. But of course, if you watch me and you follow the channel, most of the time we talk about branding. We talk about, building a clothing brand, something in apparel, how to create something. We talk about marketing strategies every now and then, advertising. But there's one little thing that pretty much trumps all of this. And it's the one thing that holds us back and we don't even realize it, how much it actually does. And that's the mental side of things. Half of this game, is understanding the material and putting it to use, sure. But the other half is all mental. And for most of us, we don't even realize mental is really like 90% of it. A lot of us already know all of the material, but we beat ourselves up every single day because we're not where we want to be just yet. Now, I want to read this quote, and I don't know who wrote it. I even did a Google search because I wanted to give them credit, but I found it come from multiple sources. So this is something I wish I knew before I got into entrepreneurship. Someone graduated at the age of 22, but waited 5 years before securing a good job. Someone became a CEO at 25 and died at 50, while another person became a CEO at 50 and lived to 90 years old. Someone is still single, while someone from his school group has become a grandfather. Obama retired at 55. Trump started at 70. Everyone in this world works based on their time zone. People around you might seem ahead of you, and some might seem to be behind you. But everyone is running their own race in their own time. Do not envy them. They are in their time zone, and you are in yours. So relax. You're not late. You're not early. You're very much on time. I really wish someone told me that years ago. And it might sound so cliche just to be like, you know what, you're doing the best you can. It's just not happening for you just yet. That's easy to say, but it's hard to soak in. I got my start pretty early when it comes to entrepreneurship. I just didn't know what I was doing just yet. I got into graphic design when I was like 13, 14. I was already making money at 14. I was charging like $50 for a nightclub advertisement design. And, from there I started doing stuff for radio stations nearby. I started doing stuff for a lot of different nightclubs. I started doing Facebook photos before. I didn't even know what it was that I was doing. I was just doing graphic design for promotional work, billboard design, stuff like that. And by doing so, it gave me early access to partying and drinking and being involved in nightclub activities. And, I had a larger vision for myself. But at the time, I just wasn't ready and I just didn't know it. But I would put in like 200% work in that day. And then, by the end of that day, I'm thinking like, man, I should be riding in a Lambo by now. I should have X amount of dollars by now because I'm working so hard. And by the time night falls, I'm looking at myself like, God, I didn't accomplish these things. I'm not where I want to be in life. And then I end up in this endless cycle where I'm putting myself in pity. I'm drinking myself to death. I'm depressed, and I'm like, I'm not where I want to be in life, and I'm never going to get there. What kind of teenager tells himself that? And I know at this point in time it's even easier to say those things because social media is so much stronger. For me, at that time, MySpace was the thing. Social media was just beginning. And Right now, social media is so much more than what it is. And, you see people who are so successful and you just beat yourself up because you're not there yet. And I'm one of the people who's practically part of the problem now that I think about it. I'm posting pictures that, things that I've accomplished in life. And I guess really we just need to tune things out sometimes and realize, that person might have things. And you just don't know what some people have gone through. And sometimes it's true. It may be easier for them. And for some, it may be even harder. But for the most, it's just their time. They did things in certain ways that made things occur at the correct time for them. That doesn't mean that you're not going to accomplish things as well. And you shouldn't beat yourself up so hard about it. Man, I used to give myself the hardest time about it. Sometimes you really got to be proud of what you already accomplished. And you really got to understand that you're on your way. And it's easier said than done, but man, I just used to be very lost in life. I just used to not understand if I'm on the right path or not. And you just got to think about it. No matter how lost you are, how much in the dark you are, even if you can't see any light, I'm just closing my eyes now. Even if you can't see any light, you can still find your way. Just picture yourself in a dark room. That's what it's like right now. There's nobody there to help you. And you only have one option. Walk around that room and try to find something. Eventually you run across a wall. You touch all over the wall, and then all of a sudden you find a little light switch. And you turn it on. And you might have one light bulb that turns on the entire room, and you might have already made it because it's your time. Or you hit that light switch and there's one little light bulb, and you realize you're in a 100,000 square foot room, and you only lit up a piece of that room. And now you have a small piece of light. And you got to dig around again for another light switch that's going to light up another piece of that room. But for some of y'all, it might even be harder. You can't even find that first light switch because you're not. I know right now you're picturing yourself in a square room with 4 walls. But who knows? You might be in a room that has 10 walls, 20 walls, 30 walls because it's just not your time yet. And unfortunately for a lot of us, it's not going to be that easy for us. But you just got to keep on filling on that wall. See what kind of switches you can find. See if you can turn on any type of light. Because it's the only choice you got. Because if you give up, nothing's going to happen for you. You're going to die alone. You're going to be in the dark. You're going to be miserable. Nothing is going to be accomplished. You got to find a way to get out of that room. For some people, the first thing they touch is a doorknob that opens that room. Great for them. It's their time. For some of us, we got to dig around this room, look for a light switch, and turn it on. It doesn't matter if it lights up the entire room or if it lights up a little bit. If we find a little bit of light, we can find some hope to make it across this entire room and find our way out. But if you give up, you'll never find your light. And I just want you to understand that. I don't care how lost you are in life, you can find your way out. You just got to find that first little bit of light. All right, so that's pretty much all I got to say. It is a Sunday, and we're winding down. Tomorrow is Monday. A lot of people look at Monday as a bad day because we got to get up, get to a job, and get to work. But you really got to look at it as a Monday is time to accomplish some things. If you look at Monday as the most miserable day, that means you got 4 more miserable days ahead of you, and you're only living for 2 days of your entire week. It's really time that you take control of your life and find that light. So, I hope y'all enjoyed something a little bit different from this podcast. I know typically I try to do instructional videos and something that's step by step, and something that can help you get a little more confidence. But the only confidence that you need is to be able to tell yourself that it's not your time yet, but your time is coming. And I can guarantee you that. Just don't give up. I'm going to see y'all next time on the Hustle Ninjas podcast. Let's get it.
Thank you for listening to the Hustle Ninjas podcast. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you here next time. Keep hustling. Keep hustling. Keep hustling.